What if I told you that the reason your relationships feel shallow isn't because you're not trying hard enough, it's because you're trying too hard? Yeah, you heard me. All those awkward small talks, forced smiles and polite nods, they're not bringing you closer to anyone. In fact, they're keeping you stuck in the same cycle of surface-level connections that leave you feeling empty and unseen. But here's the truth. Building deeper relationships doesn't require grand gestures or perfect timing. It's about simple, intentional habits that most people are too afraid to try. Habits that might feel uncomfortable at first, but will transform the way you connect with others. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. But fair warning, this isn't your typical just be kind and listen advice. This is real, raw, and maybe even a little controversial. So, if you're ready to stop settling for shallow and start building relationships that actually mean something, keep watching. Because by the end of this video, you'll have the tools to create connections that are deeper, stronger, and more authentic than ever before. Let's dive in. Number 1, the vulnerability swap. You know that moment when you're sitting across from someone and the conversation feels surface level, like you're both just skimming the top of the ocean, afraid to dive into the depths. Here's the thing, real connection doesn't happen in the shallow end. It happens when you're willing to get a little uncomfortable, a little raw, and a lot real. That's where the vulnerability swap comes in. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait, you want me to just open up like that to someone I'm not even sure I trust yet? Yes, trust me on this, because here's the secret. Vulnerability isn't a weakness, it's a superpower. And when you use it intentionally, it can transform the way you connect with people. Let's set the scene. You're at a coffee shop with a friend, or maybe even a co-worker you're trying to get to know better. The conversation is fine. You're talking about work, the weather, maybe even the latest Netflix show everyone's obsessed with. But it's not sticking. It's not the kind of conversation that leaves you feeling like you really saw each other. We've all been there, right? Those moments where you walk away thinking, that was nice, but did we actually connect? Here's where the vulnerability swap changes the game. Instead of sticking to the script, you take a leap. You share something personal, something you wouldn't normally say out loud. Maybe it's a fear you've been carrying, a mistake you're still cringing over, or a dream you're too embarrassed to admit. And then you invite them to do the same. I know, this might sound terrifying. What if they judge you? What if they don't reciprocate? Here's the thing. Most people are waiting for permission to be real. They're just as scared as you are. But when you go first, you create a safe space for them to drop their guard. And that's where the magic happens. Let me give you an example. A few months ago, I was having dinner with a friend I hadn't seen in a while. We were catching up, but it felt off, like we were both holding back. So I decided to try the vulnerability swap. I told her about a time I completely bombed a presentation at work and how it made me question my confidence for weeks. At first, she looked surprised, maybe even a little uncomfortable. But then she leaned in and shared something she'd been struggling with too. By the end of the night, we weren't just friends. We were allies. And that dinner? It went from awkward to unforgettable. Here's why this works. Vulnerability is a mirror. When you show your humanity, it gives others permission to show theirs. It's not about oversharing or dumping your emotional baggage on someone. It's about choosing one small, honest piece of yourself and offering it as a gift. And when you do that, you're not just building a connection, you're building trust. You're saying, I see you, and I'm willing to let you see me too. That's powerful. It's about reclaiming your authenticity, your courage, and your ability to connect on a level that truly matters. So, The next time you're in a conversation that feels stuck in the shallow end, try the vulnerability swap. Share something real, invite them to do the same, and watch how the dynamic shifts. Because here's the truth. The deepest relationships aren't built on small talk. They're built on the moments when we dare to be seen. Your courage, your honesty, your willingness to be vulnerable, that's where the magic is. And trust me, it's worth the leap. Number 2, no filter day. What if I told you that one day of brutal honesty could change the way you connect with people forever? Sounds terrifying, right? Like, are you trying to get me fired or dumped? Kind of terrifying. But hear me out. The no filter day isn't about being rude or reckless. It's about cutting through the noise of polite small talk and getting to the heart of what really matters. Now you might be thinking, yeah, but what if I say something I regret? Or what if people think I'm a jerk? Valid concerns. But here's the thing. When done right, the no filter day isn't about burning bridges. It's about building stronger ones. And yes, trust me on this, it's worth the risk. Let's talk about a scenario you've probably been in 100 times. You're at work and your coworker asks, "How's it going?" And what do you say? "Oh, good, everything's fine." But inside, you're drowning in deadlines, your coffee's cold, and you're pretty sure you sent an email with a typo to the entire team. Or maybe you're with a friend who's venting about their latest drama, and instead of saying, "Honestly, I think you're overreacting," you nod along and say, "Yeah, that's tough." Sound familiar? We've all been there, stuck in these surface-level exchanges because we're too afraid to say what we really think. But what if, just for one day, you let yourself off the hook? What if you gave yourself permission to be honest, not cruel, just real? Here's how. The no-filter day works. For 24 hours, you commit to saying what you really mean. No sugarcoating, no people-pleasing, no holding back. But, and this is key, you do it with kindness and intention. It's not about being blunt for the sake of it. It's about being authentic. For example, instead of saying, "Yeah, that's tough," you might say, "I think you're stuck in a loop with this, and I want to help you get out of it." Or instead of pretending everything's fine at work, you might say, "Honestly, I'm feeling overwhelmed, and I could use some support." I know this might sound scary, like you're walking a tightrope without a net, but here's the twist. Most people appreciate honesty more than we give them credit for. They're tired of the same old scripts too. Let me give you an example from my own life. A while back I was at a family dinner and my aunt started going on about how I should settle down and find a nice partner. Normally I'd just smile and nod, maybe make a joke to deflect. But that day I decided to try the no-filter day. I said, "You know, I really appreciate that you care about me, but those comments make me feel like I'm not enough as I am." At first, there was this awkward silence, like crickets. But then something amazing happened. My aunt apologized and said she hadn't realized how her words were landing. We ended up having the most real conversation we'd had in years. And guess what? She hasn't made a comment like that since. Here's the emotional payoff. The no-filter day isn't just about being honest with others. It's about being honest with yourself. It's about reclaiming your voice, your boundaries, and your right to take up space. It's about showing up as your full self, not the watered-down version you think people want. And when you do that, something incredible happens. People start showing up for you too. They respect you more. They trust you more because they know you're not hiding behind a mask. So, are you ready to try it? Just one day. No filters, no apologies for being real. It might feel uncomfortable at first, but that's how you know it's working, because growth doesn't happen in the comfort zone. It happens when you dare to say what you mean what you say, and let the chips fall where they may. Your voice, your truth, your power, That's what the No Filter Day is all about. And trust me, the world needs more of it. Number 3, the reverse ghosting challenge. What if I told you that the key to fixing a broken connection isn't waiting for the other person to reach out, it's reaching out to them? I know, that sounds counterintuitive, maybe even a little scary. After all, if they wanted to talk to you, wouldn't they have texted by now? But here's the thing, the reverse ghosting challenge isn't about groveling or chasing someone who's clearly not interested. It's about taking control of the narrative, reclaiming your power, and giving a relationship one last shot before you let it go for good. Now, you might be thinking, wait, why should I be the one to make the effort? Fair question. But trust me on this, sometimes the bravest thing you can do is make the first move. Let's talk about a situation you've probably been in. You're scrolling through your phone and you see their name. Maybe it's a friend who's been distant lately, a co-worker you had a misunderstanding with, or even an ex you're not quite over. You think about reaching out, but then you stop yourself. If they cared, they'd text me first, you tell yourself. Sound familiar? We've all been there, stuck in this standoff of silence, waiting for the other person to make the first move. But here's the problem. What if they're thinking the exact same thing? What if both of you are just sitting there, waiting while the connection fades away? That's where the reverse ghosting challenge comes in. Instead of waiting, you take action. Instead of ghosting, you show up. Here's how it works. For 1 week, you commit to reaching out to this person every single day. Not with a generic, "Hey, how are you?" but with something meaningful. Share a memory, ask a thoughtful question, or even acknowledge the distance between you. The goal isn't to force a response or beg for their attention, it's to show up with intention and see what happens. I know this might sound desperate or one-sided, but hear me out. This isn't about chasing someone who doesn't want to be caught. It's about giving yourself closure, one way or another. Either the relationship gets a second chance, or you walk away knowing you did everything you could. Let me give you an example. A few years ago, I had a falling out with a close friend. We'd been inseparable for years, but then life got busy, and somewhere along the way we just stopped talking. Months went by, and every time I thought about reaching out, I talked myself out of it. If she wanted to talk, she'd text me, I'd say. But then I decided to try the reverse ghosting challenge. For 7 days, I sent her a message. Some days it was just a funny meme I knew she'd like. Other days it was a heartfelt note about how much I missed her. By day 5, she finally responded. And you know what she said? "I've been wanting to reach out, but I didn't know how." That conversation led to us reconnecting, and today we're closer than ever. But here's the thing. Even if she hadn't responded, I would have been okay, because I would have known I tried. Here's the emotional payoff. The reverse ghosting challenge isn't just about fixing a relationship. It's about freeing yourself from the weight of what if. It's about reclaiming your peace, your power, and your ability to take action instead of sitting in silence. It's about showing yourself that you're brave enough to try, even when there's no guarantee it'll work out. And whether the other person responds or not, you walk away stronger, because you didn't let fear or pride keep you stuck. So, are you ready to take the challenge? For 1 week, reach out, be brave, be kind, and be honest. And remember, this isn't about them, it's about you, your peace, your closure, your power. Because sometimes the best way to move forward is to take one last look back. And who knows, you might just find what you've been waiting for. Number 4. The forced gratitude experiment. What if I told you that saying thank you for something you hate could actually make your life better? I know, it sounds ridiculous. Like, why would I thank someone for being annoying or thank the universe for a bad day? but stick with me here. The forced gratitude experiment isn't about pretending everything's perfect. It's about finding the hidden value in the things that drive you crazy. Now, you might be thinking, this sounds like toxic positivity wrapped in a bow. I get it, but hear me out. This isn't about ignoring your feelings or faking a smile. It's about shifting your perspective just enough to find a little peace in the chaos. And yes, trust me on this, it works. Let's talk about a situation you've definitely been in. You're stuck in traffic, late for work, and the person in front of you is driving like they've never seen a steering wheel before. Or maybe your co-worker keeps interrupting you in meetings, and you're this close to snapping. We've all been there. Those moments where you're so frustrated, so annoyed, that you can feel your blood pressure rising. And what do we usually do? We complain, we vent, we let the frustration take over. But what if, instead of letting it ruin your day, you tried something different? What if you said, "Thank you"? Not because you're happy about it, but because you're choosing to find the lesson or the silver lining. That's the forced gratitude experiment. Here's how it works. For 1 week, every time something annoys you, frustrates you, or just plain ruins your mood, you force yourself to say thank you for it, out loud or in your head. And then you find one reason why it might actually be a good thing. I know this might sound like mental gymnastics, but here's the twist. It's not about the thing itself. It's about what it teaches you. For example, that co-worker who keeps interrupting you. Thank them for reminding you to stand your ground and speak up. That traffic jam. Thank it for giving you a few extra minutes to listen to your favorite podcast. It's not about pretending the situation is perfect. It's about finding the tiny, unexpected gift hidden inside it. Let me give you an example from my own life. A while back, I had a neighbor who would play loud music late at night. It drove me insane. I'd lie in bed, fuming, thinking about all the ways I could passive-aggressively get back at them. But then I decided to try the forced gratitude experiment. Instead of stewing in anger, I said, "Thank you for reminding me how much I value peace and quiet." And you know what? It didn't make the music any quieter, but it did make me feel calmer. Over time, I even started to appreciate those moments of forced stillness. I'd use the time to read or journal, and eventually, the music didn't bother me as much. Was it magic? Number. But it was a shift, one that made my nights a little more bearable. Here's the emotional payoff. The forced gratitude experiment isn't about denying your feelings or pretending everything's fine. It's about reclaiming your power to choose how you respond to life's irritations. It's about finding small moments of peace in the middle of chaos. And when you do that, something incredible happens. You stop feeling like a victim of your circumstances. You start feeling like someone who can handle whatever comes their way. It's not about the traffic, the coworker, or the loud music. It's about you, your resilience, your perspective, your ability to find light in the dark. So, are you ready to try it? For 1 week, force yourself to say thank you for the things that annoy you. Find the lesson, the silver lining, or even just the opportunity to practice patience. And watch how it changes the way you see the world and yourself. Because here's the truth, life is going to throw annoying things your way. That part's not up to you. But how you respond, that's all yours. Your peace, your power, your gratitude. That's what the forced gratitude experiment is all about. And trust me, it's worth a try. Number 5, the role reversal game. What if the secret to understanding someone wasn't just listening to them, it was becoming them? Okay, not literally. I'm not suggesting you pull a Freaky Friday and switch bodies. But what if for just 1 day you stepped into their shoes, adopted their habits, and saw the world through their eyes? That's the role reversal game. Now I know what you're thinking. Why would I want to act like someone who drives me crazy? Or, what if I end up looking ridiculous? Valid concerns. But here's the thing, this isn't about mimicking someone to mock them, it's about gaining empathy, insight, and maybe even a little humility. And yes, trust me on this, it's a game changer. Let's set the scene. You're at work and your boss is micromanaging you again. Or maybe you're at home and your partner is leaving their socks on the floor for the 100th time. Sound familiar? We've all been there. Those moments where you're so frustrated with someone's behavior that you can't see past it. You're stuck in your own perspective, thinking, why can't they just do things my way? But here's the problem. When you're only seeing things from your side, you miss the bigger picture. That's where the role reversal game comes in. Instead of staying stuck in your own head, you step into theirs, just for a day. Here's how it works. Pick someone you're struggling to understand or connect with, and spend a day intentionally adopting their habits, quirks, or routines. If they're always the one organizing plans, you take charge. If they're constantly late, you try moving at their pace. If they're the type to over-explain, you practice doing the same. I know this might sound awkward or even a little silly, but here's the twist. When you walk in their shoes, even for a short time, you start to see the world differently. You notice the pressures they're under, the reasons behind their actions, and the things you might have missed from your own vantage point. Let me give you an example. A while back, I was having a hard time with a friend who was always cancelling plans last minute. It drove me crazy. I'd think, how hard is it to just show up? But then I decided to try the role reversal game. For one day, I intentionally overbooked myself, just like she always did. I scheduled back-to-back meetings, made plans with multiple people, and tried to juggle it all. And you know what? By the end of the day, I was exhausted. I had to cancel on someone, and I felt terrible about it. But I also understood my friend in a way I never had before. It wasn't that she didn't care, she was just overwhelmed. That realization completely changed how I approached our friendship. Here's the emotional payoff. The role reversal game isn't just about understanding someone else. It's about growing your own empathy and patience. It's about reclaiming your ability to see the humanity in people, even when they frustrate you. And when you do that, something incredible happens. Your relationships get stronger. You stop reacting with anger or judgment and start responding with compassion. It's not about agreeing with everything they do. It's about understanding why they do it. And that understanding, it's powerful. So, are you ready to play? Pick someone who's been getting on your nerves and step into their world for a day. Adopt their habits, feel their pressures, and see their perspective. It might feel awkward at first, but that's how you know it's working. Because growth doesn't happen when everything's comfortable. It happens when you're willing to stretch. Your empathy, your patience, your ability to connect. That's what the role reversal game is all about. And trust me, it's worth the effort. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video gave you some practical tools and fresh perspectives to help you build deeper, more meaningful relationships. If you found it helpful or insightful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It really means a lot and helps spread this message to more people who might need it. And if you're not already subscribed, hit that button and join the community for more content like this. Relationships are the heart of everything we do, and I'm here to help you make them stronger. If you know someone who could benefit from these ideas, share this video with them. Let's help each other grow and connect in ways that truly matter. And I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below sharing your thoughts, experiences, or even your own tips for building deeper connections. Let's create a space where we can learn from each other and grow together. Remember, the best relationships aren't built overnight, but with small, intentional habits, you can create bonds that last a lifetime. Until next time, take care of yourself and the people around you. You've got this. See you soon.